counting down to the launch of Chandrayaan-3. In over 24 hours now, tomorrow at 2:35 in the afternoon, all our eyes will be to the skies as Chandrayaan-3 will blast off, heading to its long journey to the moon. It's a significant milestone, of course, for India's space program. But just a day to go, we decode for you first how this mission will help India to learn more about the moon, about its surface and its history. Here's a detailed explainer of exactly what Chandrayaan-3 will accomplish for India and for the world.
India is waiting for a great moment as Indian Space Research Organization is all set to launch Chandrayaan-3. Behind us is a model of the rocket LVM-2 and the LVM-3 will resemble this model only, and on either side of this rocket the columns you see, those are S200 solid state boosters, and in the center part where it is written GSLV, that is the liquid stage, and on top of it we will have the cryogenic engine C25. Over that particular pod with the Indian national flag, that is a heat shield which will be carrying Chandrayaan-3. This is a module which will have a propulsion module, a lander module and the rover.
The launch vehicle will first orbit Earth before entering moon orbit. At the final lunar 100-kilometer circular polar orbit, the propulsion module carrying the launch module with the lander and rover will be launched through vehicle injection. Then the separation of the launch module from the propulsion module will take place. The propulsion module this time also has one scientific payload as a value addition. It will become operational post-separation of the lander module. The propulsion module, equipped with spectropolarimetry of habitable planet Earth or SHAPE, will then work for future discoveries of smaller planets in reflected light. It would also allow scientists to probe into a variety of exoplanets which would qualify for habitability or for presence of life. The lander module in the meantime will orbit closer to the lunar south pole.
The main aspect of this mission is to do a soft landing in the on the lunar surface, and this is the second attempt of Isro. Here also Isro has made it very clear that this time they are going for a failure-based model. They are calling this a failure-based model because whatever information that was gathered from Chandrayaan-2 has been incorporated to it. The issues with Chandrayaan-2 was called as error accumulation, which led to crash landing. It is not a failure. So all the lander module has to do is take a picture, compare it with the data that has been fed already into it, and it has only do final corrections to avoid any object that is 30 centimeters or bigger for a soft landing. Isro claims that as all other parameters have been successful, it is only going for a soft landing, post which releasing the rover on the lunar surface.
Soft landing of the lander happens when it lands intact on the lunar surface that prevents damage to the spacecraft. This will ensure survivability of instruments on board the spacecraft. This has so far been successfully achieved by only 3 other countries: USA, Russia and China.
And the very important aspect is that Isro this time has given the lander a lot of space of deciding on its own, because the Chandrayaan-2 was designed to only land in an area 500 meters into 500 meters, but right now it has been extended to 4.5 kilometers to 2.5 kilometers. In that area, the lander can land. So all these parameters have been set. The main aspect of Chandrayaan-3 is for a soft landing on the moon's surface, because every other parameters Isro has succeeded.
After successful landing at the South Pole, the lander will release the rover. During this mission, the rover will make qualitative and quantitative elemental analysis to derive the chemical composition, infer mineralogical composition of the South Pole lunar surface. This is critical for mineral and chemical finding as well as for future manned moon mission Gaganyaan of Isro. Chandrayaan-3 is all set to ensure that this sky is not our limitation. The mystery of the universe awaits beyond this for exploration.
So it's clear that Isro has ensured that they've taken lessons from what happened with Chandrayaan-2, which wasn't a complete failure. It was only the crash landing on the moon, the soft landing rather, that wasn't achieved, and hence a crash landing occurred. 3 mission objectives that you need to know about that's been established by Isro with regards to Chandrayaan-3. 1, to demonstrate a safe and soft landing on the lunar surface and not a crash landing like last time. Second objective in this case is to demonstrate that the rover, which is attached to Chandrayaan-3, can rove around the moon. It will of course be part of the most important mission of Isro, which is to get as much photographic evidence as they can really from the lunar surface. And third, to conduct on-site scientific experiments. This will be crucial for our missions, for the missions that Isro plans going forward as well. So we're all set for Chandrayaan-3's launch. In fact, the rehearsal from the very first step to the very end was done, simulating the entire launch preparation. The entire process lasted 24 hours. That's now been formally concluded, and everything, according to Isro, went smoothly. So now officially the countdown begins to the actual launch.
Chandrayaan-3 is all set to be launched from Sriharikota at 2:35 p.m. on Friday, 14th of July. And with that, India will become the 4th country to join the Ivy League of Moon Explorers. Chandrayaan-3 is largely a replica of its predecessor, Chandrayaan-2. It was launched in July 2019 in the form of an orbiter and a lander Vikram, bearing a rover Pragyan. Vikram entered into orbit around the moon, but the surface mission failed in September 2019. The lander Pragyan crashed instead of executing a slow descent. Isro later identified a problem in the guidance software and an unexpected dispersion in the propulsion system during certain phases of the descent. This time, Chandrayaan-3 rocket will place the payload in an elliptical orbit around the Earth, where a propulsion module will take over and pilot the lander to a circular orbit around the moon. Finally, around 23rd and 24th August, the lander will detach and begin a series of maneuvers culminating in a gradual landing over the surface of the moon.
Instead of success-based design in Chandrayaan-2, we are doing a failure-based design in Chandrayaan-3. What all can fail and how to protect it.
To ensure success chances, at this stage, Isro has strengthened the lander's legs, lowered its minimum thrust, enhanced the availability of power, and upgraded the landing sequence. This will be India's second attempt to soft land a lander and rover on the lunar surface and demonstrate end-to-end capacity in the relevant technologies. Soft landing on the moon is a complicated exercise and possibility of failure exists. But for the time being, Isro is hopeful for a success like its first moon mission.